Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Shinagawa.
Hey, no problem. Sorry, I'm calling late.
No problem. Just have a few questions for you today to be on the Buzz website.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay. Would you explain to voters your political and legislative experiences prior to your congressional campaign this year?
Yes, absolutely. Well, my political experience has been that I've worked on Capitol Hill for the Committee on House Administration, and in addition to that, I've worked 2 years as the state assemblywoman of Ithaca. Her name is Barbara Liston, and I was her legislative aide for 2 years. And then for the past 7 years, I've been a county legislator, and I'm not only a county legislator, but I'm the vice chairman of the board. And I've chaired everything from the Health and Human Services Committee to the Budget Committee for the county.
What made you decide to run for Congress?
The big reason why I decided to run is that I just feel like this term in Congress that is completely left behind working and middle class people. And that includes young people as well. You look at young people today and they're struggling with high student loan costs, incredible amounts of debt, including me. For example, I've got over $100,000 in student loan debt, $900 a month to pay for it. And I think if anything, the government should be there making education more affordable, making it easier for kids to go to college and get an education. What we're seeing right now is that this government instead would rather give tax cuts to millionaires, to big multinational corporations. Many of them are shipping jobs overseas. So I think the priorities are a little wrong. And it's time that we actually put the middle class first and make it so that working hard and playing by the same set of rules actually pays off in America.
What effect does redistricting have on this race?
I think it's had a fantastic effect on the race for a Democratic challenger. Basically, this district went from being a very conservative district to one being very middle of the road. There's a large independent population, and they're the ones that are going to decide this race more than Democrats or Republicans. And so it's good. I believe that what it means is that people in this district will want to elect problem solvers like me rather than obstructionists like Tom Reed.
On what issues and views do you differ from your opponent, Congressman Tom Reed?
I think we're pretty much we disagree on many issues that are out there. Congressman Reed, when it comes to jobs, believes that we just need to give more tax cuts for the wealthy and for big companies. I believe what we need to do is actually help these companies, especially small businesses, with education and training for their workers, renegotiating trade agreements so they're playing on a level playing field, creating incentives to bring manufacturing back to the district. So I'll say definitely a more hands-on approach that's about empowering the workers of these communities rather than just the bottom line of these big multinational corporations. On environmental issues, I think that the Congressman Reed is very clear about where he stands. I mean, there was even a bill out there that would actually ask oil companies to develop clear plans on what they would do when it came to oil spills. And Congressman Reed actually voted against these disaster plans. Whereas I, on the other hand, is somebody that actually believes in environmental regulation. And I think that we have to protect the beauty of our land, the clean air and drinking water of our communities. Also, I think on health care reform, Tom Reed is basically saying that he's against the Affordable Care Act, but he has no idea how to replace it. Now, let's keep in mind that before the Affordable Care Act, there were young people that had no health insurance. There were people that were getting in debt by hundreds of thousands of dollars a year because they had pre-existing conditions. And that's now all gone away under the Affordable Care Act. Also, there's a tax credit that comes to small businesses under the Affordable Care Act. And what's he going to do for those businesses now that without this tax credit, they're going to see their health care costs go up 35 to 50%? So clearly, I think Reed, he's a no person. He's an obstructionist, but he isn't a solution-based person. And I think that's what we need in Congress.
Many voters seem frustrated with the partisan gridlock in Washington. As a member of Congress, what would you do to work across party lines?
Absolutely. Well, first, I think that the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. And if you look at my record, I'm a county legislator. In 2008, I chaired the Budget Committee when the economy was really, in complete turmoil. And I chaired the committee and got bipartisan support for a budget and got it passed. As a hospital administrator, I worked with doctors and nurses and administrators and even house keepers get people together so that we can improve quality and at the same time lower costs. So my whole background and track record has been one of bringing people together to get things done. And it's that attitude that I believe we need to have in Washington. And I think the way that you start is that you start by building relationships again. And instead of seeing the opposition as enemies, that we see each other as partners. We have different views on how we're going to get things done, but at the end of the day, we all are fighting for the American people. And I think that attitude is key. One of the things that I would propose doing is that every Democratic freshman, I say that we have every Democratic freshman make a friend with a Republican freshman. Grab lunch with them once a week. Develop relationships, because it's relationships where we're working together, that are actually going to be the foundation for changing.
Do you feel other Democratic candidates across the country will be successful in their campaigns this year, and why or why not?
I think it's going to be tough. I think that we have a good chance of taking back the House of Representatives. But I think my fear, and if Democrats don't win, it's going to be because of these super PACs that are getting involved in the campaign. I mean, I think Boehner just said that his super PACs would be back. I think they're spending over $12 million that they've raised just in the past couple weeks to take on a congressional campaign. I know folks in Illinois that are running for Congress that have $2 million in super PACs that are going against them. And so, Democratic candidates, we traditionally raise our money from individuals, from groups like the teachers, the firefighters. We also have money from organizations like the Sierra Club or the League of Conservation Voters. These aren't big donors to campaign. However, these Republicans are getting money from the super PACs and also from corporations like Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan that are running $5,000 checks. And all you have to do is look at Congressman Reed. He's accepted relatively little money from individuals, but the amount of money that he's got from PACs is incredible. It's almost $800,000 from just these corporate political action states. So I think, frankly, that we need to get money out of politics entirely, and that's why I support public financing elections, so we get this democracy back in the hands of the class people.
Do you have a particular message for college students who are listening to this interview?
Yeah, well, my message to college students is simple. That Congressman Reed has voted for the Ryan budget twice. The Ryan budget reduces Pell Grants for 9 million students, puts the work-study program completely at risk, cuts Pell Grants, by the way, for millions of students entirely. And then it solidifies the student loan rate going from 3.4% to 6.8%. That's what Congressman believes in. Congressman Reed believes in what he's been fighting for, and I think it's wrong. And if elected, I will be somebody that will absolutely fight for students and for young people. And that's what my track record has been. I'm a relatively young person myself. I'm just 29 years old. And I have a lot of student loan debt too. So I know what college students are going through, what young people are going through, and I'll be a fighter for them on my front.
Please explain the importance of being informed about the issues and candidates and voting in this year's election.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Could you please explain the importance of being informed about the issues and candidates and voting in this year's election?
Absolutely, yes. Well, I mean, I think that what happens in these political campaigns is that we choose a side and we seek out the information that reinforces our own opinion. And what I recommend to people is that you read from multiple sources. Now, don't just listen to what the New York Times says, but also look at what the Wall Street Journal says. Now, when you're watching Fox News, watch MSNBC sometimes, and look at CNN as well. And the more places we get information, the less we are within our own world. Because sometimes we see the world from a particular lens, and it's not always the right view of the world. And so I encourage people to do that because the stakes are high in this election. We have one vision for America that's all about giving more to those that already have a lot. And another vision for America, which is mine, which is that we actually will provide opportunities to every working middle-class American so that the American dream is real for them. And those are the two visions for America. And I think the choice is clear, but I encourage everybody to research more about the candidates and see who they really believe in and agree with.
How can people register to vote and learn more about your campaign?
Well, I believe this is the last day. Friday, October 12th is the last day to register to vote. And so we need people to do that right away. You can go to my website at facebook.com/Nate Shinagawa. That's my social media site. And if you go onto Facebook, there's a little button on my page that will allow you to register to vote online here in New York State. And students, you can register to vote in the places in which you go to school. And don't let anybody tells you that you can't, whether it's a civil rights violation or voting rights violation, and you should report that to local officials immediately right away. We've been getting reports from that Republicans are telling students that they should register to vote in the places where they go to school, and that's completely illegal and wrong. So you can register to vote where you're going to school. Please do it. It will make a difference.
As a music station, we asked this for our last question in interviews. What music have you been listening to lately?
Oh my gosh. Well, that is a great question. I'm listening to the latest Mumford & Sons album. I think it's fantastic. And then also, I think the latest Muse album has a lot of variation. They like to test different genres. I've really been into that recently as well.
All right, thank you once again for your time, Mr. Shinagawa, and best of luck with your campaign.
All right, take care. Bye.
The Buzz has also invited Congressman Tom Reed for an interview and hopes to arrange a day and time to speak with him. Thank you for listening to this special Bona News Now interview. The Buzz is teaming up with St. Bonaventure's College Democrats and Republicans to host watch parties for the vice presidential debate this Thursday, October 11th, and the two remaining presidential debates on October 16th and 22nd. All three events will take place at 9 p.m. in Dresser Auditorium in the Murphy Professional Building. Keep tuned in to Bona News Now for election coverage now through November 6th.